Welcome to this by Manufacturers Direct YouTube Surface Preparation Learning Series, where today Josh partners with our colleagues at Smith Paints to prepare a previously polished garage floor and install a polyaspartic epoxy coating. For this project, we are faced with a previously polished concrete floor with heavy densifier and sealer. For the sake of speed and consistent surface profile, we opted to first grind utilizing the STI PrepMaster Jr. 220-volt dual head grinder in order to penetrate the heavy densifier. We then followed up with a brush blast using Impax America's S210E 8-inch 110-volt shot blaster. These two pieces offered the perfect combination to create an ideal surface for our Smith Polyaspartic. As with any coating project, you'll need the right tools to support the job. Because polyaspartic is time sensitive and hardens quickly, you will need one of the following for every required step: an 18-inch roller, an 18-inch roller pan, brush for the edges, mixing bucket, disposable gloves, rags, and mixing sticks. In addition, you'll need a tarp of some kind, as materials will stain if spilled. You'll need an electric drill with a mixing paddle, painter's tape, spike shoes, a stand-up roller handle, and scraping blades, either metal or aluminum. Like with any project, profits can be earned or lost in efficiency and execution. Because Smith Paints Polyaspartic 1000 is a one-day application, it's important to have the prep work completed prior to mixing the components. This includes protecting the bottom few inches of the walls using painter's tape, hand grinding the edges, corners, and around door frames, and arguably the most critical step in the preparation process is removing dust and debris from the surface. A popular misconception is this can be accomplished using a simple shop vac. The market is full of quality, high-performing dust collection systems that are specifically designed to capture and contain the ultrafine particles associated with concrete dust. Failure to remove the dust will most likely result in a failure of the coating, not to mention creating a hazardous work environment. It's recommended that after vacuuming the surface, several passes be made utilizing a microfiber mop to extract any remaining dust particles. At this point, it's good practice to conduct a calcium chloride test to measure the amount of moisture or vapor emissions emitting from the floor. Further steps might be required depending on the results of this test. Another factor to consider is the weather. As with any two-part system, be aware of the ambient temperature and relative humidity. If the temperature and humidity are within 10 points of each other, it could allow undesirable moisture to be introduced. If this happens, it's correctable by conducting an acetone wipe across the floor to eliminate any unwelcome moisture. Before mixing the Polyaspartic 1000, make sure to wear synthetic disposable gloves and safety glasses. Always mix products in a well-ventilated area to avoid breathing excessive fumes. The first step is to apply a primer coat to the floor in order to fill in any capillaries. This provides uniformity across the floor for future applications. To begin, place an empty, preferably new, clean and non-contaminated bucket on a protective tarp and slowly pour Part A. However, before adding Part B, slowly mix Part A, but be careful not to induce air into the mix. Now add Part B, but again, mix slowly, careful not to induce air. The preferred method of mixing is with an electric paddle mixer at low RPMs. However, if an electric mixer isn't available, you can mix by hand. Just remember to maintain a consistent mixing motion at low revolutions. Using either method, mix for no less than 3 minutes. And do not cut short or overmix, as this may negatively affect the desired chemical reaction. Once the parts have been combined, you have about 30 to 40 minutes of a working window. Because this is time sensitive, have one person brush the edges while the second person rolls the product to the surface. After the primer application, wait 1 hour before continuing with the base coat application. When preparing the base coat, or the tint coat, pour Part A into a bucket following the same procedures as earlier. However, add the color or the tint before adding Part B. After mixing, the pot life remains the same as the primer, 30 to 40 minutes. Again, mix for no less than 3 minutes. Follow the same application procedures as the prime coat, using someone to brush the edges and the second person to roll the base coat. Be careful to apply evenly across the floor and be attentive to blending the edges. Again, the pot life is 30 to 40 minutes, so don't dilly-dally. If the material starts to harden, you may have to dispose of the old material and start again, an expensive mistake that consumes your profit. Immediately following the application of the base coat, start broadcasting the chips. It's important to wear spiked footwear during this process. If not, the flat surfaces of a boot or everyday shoes will leave footprints in the wet material. Broadcast the chips generously. Excessive chips can be recovered and used again. When broadcasting, literally throw the chips in an upward motion, allowing the chips to naturally fall to the ground. This will help avoid clumping or creating piles of chips. The objective is to totally cover the surface with an even quantity of chips, leaving a consistent and uniform look. After broadcasting, wait an hour, then you can begin scraping the excessive chips. Use light, even pressure when scraping, ensuring not to dig or gouge the surface. At the same time, use a standard off-the-shelf shop vac to collect the excessive chips. However, note if you're planning on reusing the chips, make sure the shop vac collection container is clean and clear from dust, dirt, or other contaminants. After scraping, wait 2 hours. Then you're ready for the last step of applying the clear coat. Again, make sure to apply evenly, avoiding puddling, as well as any thin spots. When you're complete, wait at least 24 hours before parking vehicles, and if you extended your application under the areas where the garage door touches the surface, make sure to leave a 2 to 3 inch gap, not closing the garage door completely, for 24 hours. Otherwise, the rubber from the garage door may stick to the surface. If you have any questions regarding this video, we welcome your input. In addition, if you would like more information on any of these products or procedures, please contact your Buy Manufacturers Direct sales and support representative either by email at info@buymanufacturersdirect.com or by calling at area code 815-278-1308. This video has been brought to you by your colleagues at Buy Manufacturers Direct.